As you can see, decorative stitches are so much prettier stitched out. Whether you stitch them in solid color or variegated thread, this machine has stitches that you won't believe you have until you sew them out. When you select from the menu, you're going to notice they're each grouped in sections, and they're kind of labeled here. Like these are the quilt stitches in E. Quilt stitches, and then they have applique stitches. You can find just about anything you want. As soon as you pick your stitch, you're going to notice it's going to show up in the sewing area. It'll tell you what foot to use, and depending on what fabric you told it you'll be sewing on, it'll give you a needle recommendation. So as you pick these stitches, what you see in this window is what you're going to get when you sew them out. So that means that the hearts are going to face, or the base is going to be on the left side, which is kind of nice. If you ever need to flip them, you have mirror images. And if you have a stitch that's not symmetrical, here we go, we also have mirror image so we could flip them left and right, and also up to down. So if you need your cars or trailers going one direction instead of the other, you can use both mirror images in conjunction with each other to get them to go the direction you want. So when you pick your stitches, I recommend that you take some time and stitch out all the stitches in your machine. Give yourself some fabric and a layer of stabilizer to give yourself a nice little work area. Just line one stitch up next to the other with your presser foot separating them. That's a nice little guiding place to guide it. And then stitch out a couple repeats. You don't have to do a whole row of them, but at least enough to see how long the stitch is. Speaking of stitch length, when you see the side here where it says 15 millimeters long, that means from the beginning of the stitch to the end of the stitch is 15 millimeters. You're going to notice some of these are much longer, 28 millimeters for that little piece of candy. So that means you can kind of get an idea, will I be able to get 2 or 3 stitches sewn as you go? So plan to stitch these out. Now some of these, let me go up to the stitch menu again. When you pick them, for example, I'm in the H menu, notice you have a new presser foot that comes up on the screen. The presser foot is presser foot S. S is much wider because look how big this stitch is. It's 16 millimeters wide this time. That means the fabric is actually going to travel side to side while the stitches are being stitched out. To give you an idea, this is how big these stitches are. Notice how big the foot is. So you're going to see that the foot will travel side to side and back and forth to give you the whole entire look. So look how pretty those are. How fun is that to see those in person? So let's just take a look. Let's see here. On the K menu, there's some fun ones. Let's see what else. Okay, so for example, there's a couple stitches in here. 27, we are in menu K. Notice that this stitch is very wide. It's 47 millimeters wide. It also doesn't show you multiple repeats of it on screen, and that is because it only stitches it one time. Look where the starting point is. So with the starting point right here in the center of the stitch, here let's go ahead and stitch this. I'm going to want to start, we'll go ahead and put our S foot on. These are the big directional stitches. These are great. So I'm going to start kind of in the middle, giving myself plenty of room for the stitch to actually back up and continue to go. Now once you go ahead and do these types of stitches, I'm going to follow or keep my eye working with and keeping the fabric parallel to the lines on my machine, and also maybe parallel to the edge of the presser foot. Now if you don't have an edge of the foot to follow, I'm going to just flip this around here, there we go, then having marked lines on the fabric is going to be the way to keep this all lined up so it doesn't get away from you. Nothing like having a row of decorative stitches that are kind of sideways. These gigantic stitches are beautiful, but you got to take the time to stitch them out and really see what they look like in thread and on your fabric. We'll go ahead, it stops right at the end, so just cut your thread and look how fun that is. Notice it is 47 millimeters wide. It does the work for you. Now if you have any stitches that don't come out exactly like it looks on the machine here, you can go up to tools and use the balance to create the fix that will actually make it come out just what you need. But remember, stabilizer is the key, and guiding it to keep it upright is going to be identical, perfect for what you're looking for. So once again, take your time, stitch out all your stitches, make a little notebook, and then you'll realize how cool some of these are. Oh my goodness, there's even a snowman in here, 'tis the season.